and good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of the tube. Hope you're well today. Hope you're feeling grand and all's well in your world. I certainly am feeling a lot better after that release we're going to call the intro jam today. I hope it wasn't boring. It was very long. But something had to come out today. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it was, but I'm glad it's gone, whatever it was. So, happy days. Okay, so welcome to the Q&A Wednesday, everybody. I feel lighter, which is nice, and I feel ready to answer your questions as best I can. Okay, so let's get to question one, shall we? Okay, so question one today is, what would you consider more important when playing a guitar solo? A large amount of technique and a vast scale knowledge, or sticking to mainly one or two scales and playing with passion and heart? This is subjective. It's a very subjective thing, guitar solos, you know. A lot of people like technical guitar solos, a lot of people like, you know, crazy sweep picking and tapping and shredding. Some people like more feel-based stuff. For me, it's a lot more important to play with feel. Regardless of technique, regardless of scale knowledge and theory knowledge and all that lot, if you play with feel, that's everything. If you can play how you feel and just get out what needs to come out, then that's how you should play. To me, I prefer guitarists who play with feel. I don't get affected by speed and technique with guitarists. I don't. If I watch somebody like Steve Vai, who I love Steve Vai. I think he's brilliant, but his music doesn't affect me the same way Jimi Hendrix's does, or John Frusciante. It's like listening to Steve Vai do Whispering a Prayer or something like that. That doesn't affect me the same way John Frusciante's Before the Beginning or Jimmy's Machine Gun affects me. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, if I listen to Steve Vai or any shredder like Yngwie Malmsteen, I'm a big Yngwie fan as well, their music doesn't affect me. It doesn't actually kind of go inside and kind of make me feel anything. And I know a lot of people will kind of say, well, you're wrong because they play with a lot of feel. Yeah, to you, yes, they do. But to me, I don't feel it. And again, this is the whole thing about music, is music and everything about music is subjective. And it's the same thing about life, really, in general, if you want me to go zen on you. Everything's subjective. And you can't dislike somebody for not liking what you like. So, you know, I mean, it's silly to do that. You know, it's like, you know, you don't like this, so I hate you because of it. It's like, well, okay, that doesn't really work. But okay. But yeah, it's all subjective. I mean, like I say, some people like theory-based players who are just technique and really, really good technique. And then some people like real feel-based players. For me, it's a lot more important to just play with all of your being. Not just running scales and not just exercising your finger muscles. It goes beyond that. It goes to a point where, you know, you're literally expressing everything you are, and you're putting everything you are out there at that point in time, and it's literally scary and it's daunting, and that's what you are at that point in time. I don't like bringing myself up because I feel it's ego-y and I can't stand that concept. Makes me cringe. But today's intro jam, I couldn't come up with anything. Like, literally, I was trying. I don't know. It's a really weird thing. I didn't sleep very well last night. I had a lot of funny dreams last night in my dream, in my sleep, and I didn't feel like I slept. I don't feel very rested, and my mind and my body feel still tired. So, and I was just struggling to come up with something. I was just like, I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and that didn't work. And I was just struggling. I was just like, this isn't working. And I was trying multiple guitars, and nothing was working. It just wasn't. It was winding me up. So I was getting angry, and I was just getting frustrated at not being able to come up with something that I feel is good enough for you out there in YouTube to listen to. I was just like, this isn't good enough, Dave. You need to it needs to get better. It needs to be better than this. People, you want to. It wants to be better for you lot. It needs to be better than what I was doing. So I was just messing around and I was trying different guitars, and I went and got this guitar. And literally the first thing that came out was the backing. I had the drum loop going for something else. It didn't work, so I set the drums going, and I played this progression. It just came out of literally thin air. To me, it just literally just came out of thin air, and I don't even remember it. I knew it was in E major, but I don't remember the chords. I actually don't remember the chords. What were they? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not relevant. But I was getting frustrated and angry at not being able to come up with anything that I felt was good enough for the intro jam. I was getting annoyed. And then this came out of nowhere, this kind of mellow thing. And I love playing like to mellow things, and I love chord progressions that move and then halt and stay and tension release and all that kind of thing, because it gives you the ability to really express. And throughout that intro, I could feel myself going from different emotions. I could feel it, like I was really upset at one point, and I was feeling really mellow at one point, and I got really angry at one point. I don't remember anything about what I played. I remember these feelings, but I don't remember how it played. And that to me is all I want to do when I play guitar, is literally express everything that I am at that point in time through this. This isn't a guitar at that point. This is just an extension of your being. It's not a piece of wood with strings on it and a few electrics. It's literally you. It's why I don't name guitars. I don't believe in naming guitars, because they're just an extension of you. Why would you call an extension of you something else? It's just strange to me. But again, my opinions, for what they're worth. But yeah, for me, it's a lot more important to listen to a guitar solo that's got feel behind it, and just immense feel, like Jimmy's Machine Gun. I mean, there's one point in Jimmy's Machine Gun where he hits that note and it's... He just hits that big note, that big screaming note, and he just stood there with his eyes closed, and the Univibe's going... And it's just... The first time I heard that, it was literally like... Whoa. It's heavy. It's a heavy feeling you get. And that to me does so much more than Yngwie Malmsteen going shredding a million notes a second. Not the fact I don't love that kind of guitar playing, because I do, and it's fun. But I prefer the feel-based stuff 10 times more. I just like the whole concept of somebody playing exactly how they feel at that point in time, with no inhibitions or fear. You're just putting everything you are out there as you are. That's what you are. Take it or leave it, kind of thing. And you're saying something. You're saying something about guitar solo, instead of just kind of like being technically proficient and just kind of like look what I can do, look what I can do. You're reaching out and you're trying to grab people, and you're trying to make them feel better, or try and make them understand the way you feel at that point in time, and in so doing you can take them with you, and if they're feeling the same, then you can help them feel better and stuff like that. And the power of feel-based music is, to me, more powerful than technical-based music and theory-based and stuff like that. It has the ability to just transcend reality. Because I do remember at one point, coming to the end of the intro jam just now, I remember opening my eyes at one point, and I took a split second to remember where I was. I didn't remember. I was gone. And that's all that's all I've wanted from music, because that's the way music makes me feel. It just makes me want to just like escape. Every time I hear a song that really affects me, it makes me just want to release control of everything and just let it take me where it's going to take me. And the same thing with a guitar solo. It's like if somebody asked me to analyse what I just did and tell me what I just did, I couldn't tell you, because I don't remember. it was a moment in time. All these intro jams are moments in time, never to be, repeated. I couldn't do what I did 10 minutes ago in that intro jam again. And I couldn't do last week's intro jam or yesterday, or Friday's intro jam or Monday's intro jam again the same way. It wouldn't be genuine if I did it again, because you're just trying to repeat a moment in time. And I love that about guitar solos, especially feel-based guitar solos, in the fact of it is literally, that's you at that point in time. At that point in time, you were feeling X, Y, and Z, and then it came out. And now it's released, so to say. And I prefer that more to just kind of like, I'm running this scale into this mode, and I'm doing this arpeggio and this run and this sweep pick pan, stuff like that, and I'm tapping this scale, and I prefer that to that technical aspect. I don't analyze anything I do on guitar anymore, because it's not the fact I don't care, I'm not interested in overanalyzing things, because you can get really het up with overanalyzing things, and then you end up analyzing, not playing. And if you're analysing, you're not playing. And if you're playing, you're not analysing, which is the best thing, in my opinion. You just want to be playing, regardless of oh, I hit a wrong note. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you hit a wrong note, you hit a wrong note. If you're doing, if you get like if you miss a note, you miss a note. If it's just noise, it's just noise. Just let it be what it'll be. These moments in time are special for that reason. Whereas if you're playing something you've rehearsed for a year and you can play it perfectly every time, there's no danger in it. And I like the danger aspect of, like, you are flying by the seat of your pants, and at any moment the wheels could fall off. You could break a string going for a ridiculous bend. You could totally miss. Your guitar could go out of tune using the tremolo arm, whatever. And I like that. I like that kind of feeling, because it's more of a natural feel to me than kind of like, just literally not leaving anything to chance. I love leaving everything to chance. I like the fact that sometimes it could go wrong, and I'm not afraid of that, which is a really important lesson. Never be afraid of things going wrong with your guitar playing. Never be afraid of breaking a string. Never be afraid of hitting a wrong note. Never be afraid of your guitar going out of tune. Never be afraid of caning the hell out of your tremolo arm. Never be afraid of anything. Just let it be what it'll be, and you'll find a way through it. One way or another, good or bad, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You could find that you could do something that you thought, oh, that was horrific. What did I do? And some people could be like, whoa, that was insanely good. It's all subjective. So, long story short, Tangent Boy! Here to answer your questions with many other questions. Answers. I don't know anymore. By the way, everybody, it's a very, very dark, gloomy day today, which is why it's probably very, very dark in this room. So yes, it's grim. It's been raining, and I love it. I love this kind of weather. So yes, that's why it's a bit grey. But anyway, I tangent off onto the weather. But anyway, yeah, I prefer feel-based guitar solos. I just love that whole capturing a point in time, capturing an emotion in time, and like I've said before, that's the most important thing to me, is to reach out and touch people with guitar playing, is to grab you and take you on a little ride with me. If I'm not doing it, I don't feel like I'm doing my job. If I'm not trying to if you've had a hard day and you listen to music and it makes you feel better, that's what I want to do. I want that. I want it to be a helpful thing. I want my guitar solos and my music to be helpful. I don't want it to be just like, hey, look at me, because I don't want that. I mean, you don't want to look at me. I'm an ugly bugger, but that's all right. And regardless of what I don't care about that kind of thing. All I want is just my music and my playing to help. If that makes sense, that's silly. And just to, I don't know if it's silly, but it might be. I don't know. But that's what I want. I want to express myself, and in so doing, help other people who might feel the same way, to make them feel as not alone, or feel there's hope, or whatever. That's important to me. That's really important to me, because that's what music is to me. if it wasn't for these, I wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. It really is as black and white as that. It really is for me. And I want to share my love for music, my love for guitar with everybody any way I can. And because of this YouTube channel, thanks to you lot, I'm able to do that. And I'm so grateful. Which is why I get so hard on myself when I can't come up with something that I don't feel is good enough. Isn't good enough. You need to dig deeper, Dave. You need to try harder, and I like it because it pushes me into places I wouldn't normally go. Maybe sometimes. I mean, there's been sometimes that I've gone places where I wouldn't normally go just because I'm pushing myself constantly to kind of try and get better at this whole communication thing, which is really important to me. I really want to connect with everybody on that musical level, which is a higher level of consciousness than normal consciousness, So yeah, for me, it's feel based. Pentatonic. Stick to a pentatonic scale. You can do so much with a pentatonic scale. If you do just play E minor pentatonic over this and nothing else, you can get a lot out of it. That's just E minor pentatonic. I mean, you can do so much with that. So there's so much you can feel with just those notes just over a chord progression. It's incredible. So yeah, that's my opinion. People of a tube, I put this question to you. What is your favourite kind of guitar solo? Is it technical or feel? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Okay, so moving on to question 2 now, because I could spend hours talking about that. Okay, question 2. My guitar playing has reduced to an hour, and I find myself repeating the same old riffs here and there. Do you have any tips on how to get the maximum amount of guitar in such a short space of time? I don't know, it's quite difficult to answer that question, but what I would say is learn songs. Learn whole songs in an hour. You should have enough time in an hour to learn a whole song. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. I mean, I can only speak from my perspective again, which may be helpful, might not be helpful. It's really difficult to kind of to gauge it. But I love to learn songs, and I just love that thing of like knowing something you didn't know before, or understanding something you didn't understand before about a certain song. It's really, really cool. So I would say learn songs and solos, and just try and get them kind of like down, so to say, and then just kind of like and again, play how you feel. Again, that's I can't stress that enough. I really can't. We've spoke about that already though, so we won't go back into that. But you want to be if you've only got an hour, like I say, just play through some songs. If songs like 5 minutes, you can get quite a few in an hour. So and I love that's what I love to. I love going and putting on like Stadium Arcadium or Band of Gypsies or whatever, and playing along. And I'll normally play along for about an hour or 2 hours, depending on how I feel, or Pearl Jam. I love playing along with Pearl Jam. I like to play Pearl Jam's 10 album front to back, pretty much, apart from some songs which I don't know. But I like to play like literally the first load of tracks all the way through, basically. I only don't know two. I know all the songs apart from 2 on that album, which is Oceans and Deep. Because I don't know, I just like the others more. But But yeah, it's just play along to your favorite albums. Just have fun. You never want to think that, like, you know, oh, I've only got an hour, I'm not going to be able to kind of, like, you know, do this, that, and the other. I'm not progressing. Don't ever think you're not progressing. You know, because that's a road to ruin, that is. The moment you think you're not progressing, it sticks in your head, you're like, I'm not progressing. And it kind of, like, you know, mutates and gets bigger and bigger to the point you're like, I'm rubbish. I'm quitting. I've seen it happen. So you don't want to be overanalyzing. You know, you don't want to be kind of like, you know, I'm not progressing. You want to just have fun. Yeah, you just want to be having fun playing the guitar for yourself. Play what you want to play how you want to play with whatever sound you want to play with. And I say, there's nothing more fun than sticking on your favourite album, learning all the songs on it front to back, and playing along. It's just, I can't recommend it enough, people. It's just one of the most fun things in the world. Plus, you get certain experience of playing in a band, because you technically are. You know, you're playing along to something. If you're playing along to a band, you're playing in that band. You know, it sounds really weird, but, you know, you are. You're playing along to them. If they're playing live, you're playing live, you know. So that's what I would recommend. But again, it's hard to kind of, like, judge the situation on what it is, not really knowing. But knowing what you kind of like to do and, like, you know, what do you like to play and stuff. And playing on to backing tracks is another good thing. Like, you know, just getting backing tracks up on YouTube and just messing around, just having fun. Always have fun. Never, ever, ever. You just if the guitar's getting you bogged down, go away from it for a while. You know, you need a break. You know, breaks can sometimes be the best thing for you. If the guitar's getting you down, you want a break from it, definitely. But yeah, it's you just want to be just having, like I said, having fun. It's really important to have fun with a guitar. It really is. And if you've only got an hour, and if you've only got an hour, then kind of like, you know, most albums are like 45 minutes to an hour long. So, you know what I mean? You've got quite a lot of time. An hour is a long time to play guitar. I mean, you only really need to play. You can practice for 10 minutes a day and progress. It's quite incredible. But yeah, I would just say have fun. Do whatever you want to do in that time. You know, don't ever overanalyze. Again, coming down to that thing, never overanalyze anything. Don't overanalyze. I'm like, is this? Is that? It will all come eventually. You know what I mean? You can't rush things. You can't just go, this doesn't sound like this yet. Well, you know, if you've only just learned it or you've been working at it for a while, it's not going to. Things take time. Give it time. Give everything time with the guitar. It's worth it in the long run. If you rush things go wrong. You need to just breathe, let it happen naturally. It will happen one way or another. It might not happen in a week. It might not happen in a year. It might not happen in 10 years. But it will. You know, it will come eventually. So, yeah, that's what I would recommend. It's an awesome thing playing along to bands because I say you can just escape into a different world, and you just enjoy it instead of just kind of like, you know, getting bogged down with kind of like, you know, am I doing, is this worthwhile? Am I learning? Am I doing this, that, and the other? So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. People of the tube, what would you recommend for somebody who's only got an hour to play to feel like they're getting the most out of the guitar? Just leave your comments in the comment section below, and let's see if we can help this fellow out. Okay, so yeah, so I hope that's answered your question. That's what I would recommend. Playing along to your favourite albums is just like, you know, everything. It really is good fun. Okay, so moving on to question 3 now. Question 3. When I solo, I always fall back into the same licks and phrases. How do I prevent this? Again, don't analyse it. You know, you can only do so much because you've only got so many notes. You know, if you fall back into doing this thing, there's tons of reverb on that. That's from the intro jam. You know, if you keep falling back into doing that riff, that's fine. It's okay to repeat yourself over and over again. It really is. It's not a problem. If you keep falling back into the same riffs, that's fine. Just, you know, just take what you're doing and just kind of like, you know, just figure it out. So instead of instead of doing the bend and you got a slightly different lick, or, you know, doing something like that, it's just variants. Find variants of your favourite licks, you know, and just kind of like use them to enhance your playing, so to say. But don't worry about repeating yourself or falling back into certain things. Everybody does it. You know, you'll find people like Slash and Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante will do the same thing over and over again. Although people say, oh, people like that don't repeat themselves. Yeah, they do. They have to. Because the guitar only has a certain amount of notes. It doesn't matter how many strings you've got. Musical theory will only dictate that you've only ever got 12 notes. It doesn't matter how many strings you've got. And some of those notes won't sound very good. So you've only got about maybe 6 or 7 you can use at one time. So regardless of how many strings you've got or whatever, you've only got this many notes. So you're going to repeat yourself one way or another. The only thing you've got is different octaves and different ways of combining these notes. And there are as many. But yeah, I mean, don't worry about it. Literally, it's not a big worry. It's really not. Just let it flow. You know, just if you keep repeating yourself, don't get angry at it. I'm guilty of this, so I kind of know what you mean. I'm guilty of thinking, oh, I've already done that lick 6 times. Why am I doing it again? Let it go. In the scheme of things, it doesn't matter. You know, nobody's overanalyzing you going, well, you've done that lick 6 times. I'm going to hurt you now. You know, it's not going to happen. And if somebody did do that, I was like, what's wrong with them? Anyway, but yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, another way to prevent this is to learn different kind of licks from other people. Like, listen to a guitarist you like and go, oh, I like what he did there, and I don't know how to do that. Learn it and incorporate it into your own playing to a point, and eventually it'll just become second nature, and you'll just be able to do it. It'll just become part of you. And you'll probably combine it with all sorts of other things. It's really, really cool. You can combine Jimi Hendrix licks with Peter Green licks, and Peter Green vibrato. It's really kind of like, you know, stuff like that. You can combine all sorts of stuff, or combine Jimi Hendrix with John Frusciante, and that's what I want to do, and Rory Gallagher with whatever. But anyway, but yeah, combine your favorite guitarist. Just listen to your favorite guitarist, find the licks you like of theirs, and nick them, and incorporate them into your own playing. You know, it really is. You know, do that. Don't feel like, oh, I can't do that. You can do anything you want. You know, and don't overanalyze. Never overanalyze. The moment you overanalyze, you stop playing. You stop making music at that point. If you're overanalyzing everything you do, you just stop playing. I was having a nightmare with it the other day, just overanalyzing things, and I just stopped myself. I'm like, why am I overanalyzing it? What does it matter? It doesn't matter. Enjoy it. Have fun. Like I said in the last video, you got to have fun with it. And if that means repeating yourself, then you repeat yourself. It doesn't matter if you repeat yourself. It's totally fine to. You know, there's no law stating you're not allowed to play this lick 60 times. You know, in a song. It doesn't matter. You know, there's a million times you hear guitarists go, you know, stuff like that. It's okay to do that kind of stuff, you know, and that's just a repeating lick over and over again. And it's okay to do stuff like that. It's fine. You know, again, there's no law book with guitar. You can do whatever you want. Do what you feel. If you feel like you want to keep doing something, do it. If it's getting you down, find a way to vary it. You know, like I say, if you're doing that and you keep repeating that lick, instead of doing that bend, just go, or, you know, whatever. You know, it's just vary it up. But I know what you mean, that you can become your worst enemy with that kind of thing. But you've got to kind of be careful not to. So yeah, don't worry about repeating yourself. But I would recommend learning some of your favorite guitarists' licks. You know, there's one that I love that Paul Kossoff does, and he does it in the Beat Club sessions of Fire and Water, where he starts to solo like this. And it's this lick. That, when I first heard that, I was like, I immediately ran to the guitar. I was like, what is that? And I was like, that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And that's part of my playing now. You probably played it in the intro jam. Because it's the licks like that become part of your playing, and then you're paying homage to your heroes and also using it in your own way, which is just the way it's wicked. It's amazing. I love doing that kind of thing. And And quoting stuff as well, like you could be doing like a 12-bar blues. And you can start a solo doing this. Everyone should know this. It's the Voodoo Child intro solo, everybody. I don't know why I give it away. It's really iconic. But, you know, and quoting it, like... Something that's really good fun, to quote famous lyrics. See, that's it. That's the essence of music and guitar. Having fun, having a laugh with it, being silly with it. It's good fun. There's times to be serious and there's times to be silly, and it's all fun at the end of the day. That's all it boils down to is fun, and it's just great. And it makes people chuckle as well. If you do stuff like that, if people like, you know, you can brighten somebody's day, you can make them smile just by doing something like that, and it's just brilliant. You make yourself smile as well. Like, anyway, so yeah, so I hope that's answered your question. I'm going to move on to question 4 now. Okay, so question 4. Oh, I've got a really itchy nose all of a sudden, everybody. Oh, that's horrible. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, sorry. Moving on to question 4. Oh. I'm struggling to get the John Frusciante tone on low volumes. I have a DS2, Ibanez Wah, Zoom G3, Boss RC300, and a Marshall JVM 215. Is it even possible to get that sound on a lower levels of volume? If so, what would be the best gain settings on the pedals and amps? Okay, so because your JVM's valve, low volume is going to be a hard thing for it, because valves, by their nature, have to be run fairly loud for them to breathe. They have to breathe that way, otherwise they're just a kind of clean thing. Which again isn't an issue, but what I'd recommend is using the overdrive channel of your JVM. Has the JVM got free channels? I don't remember. I've never played a JVM, so I can't honestly say. I don't know how it's voiced, but that's what I would recommend if you want that kind of John Frusciante kind of like, you know, that semi-broken up thing where you can kick on the DS2 and it's not gonna skyrocket or sound horrific. You want to be using something like your overdrive channel. What does a JVM have? Sorry, I don't know. I'm not very clued in on the JVM amps. But you want to be using an overdrive channel to simulate your amp running hotter than it is, if that makes any sense, which is the beautiful thing about having a gain channel on an amp, especially a valve amp, because you can turn the gain up a little bit more, and it makes it behave more like it would if the amp was more wound up and compressing through the valves. So it is possible, but because I have never played a JVM, I don't actually know where you'd want to set anything. I mean, I've never played a Zoom G3 either, so I couldn't honestly say where to set things. You know, it'd just be kind of like, you know, generalising, and it probably wouldn't help. The DS2, I mean, my DS2 is maxed out all the time. It's just like, you know, level, tone, and distortion are on 10. And I always have it set to mode 2. It's kind of a mid-range boost. This is mode 1 on the DS2, which I don't like at all. And this is mode 2. You know, and I love that more. So, and again, the Ibanez was always flat out. But having not played a JVM and not played a Zoom G3, it's really hard to set it like this, and this. And even then, yeah, it would probably be just a jumping off point for you. So, sorry everybody, one sec. Tone juice time, getting a dry throat. Good, right, that's bitter. Anyway, yeah, so I would recommend using like a gain channel on your amp and just running the gain really low, but just enough to get the kind of compression. and to just make the amp feel like it's working harder than it actually is on low volumes. But like I say, valve amplifiers by their nature do not like to be run quiet. They need to be turned up quite a bit for them to start to breathe. You know, if they're turned down really low, they are very stifled. It's like, you know, it's a bit like that. They're a bit kind of like pushed down. Whereas when the louder they get, the more open they get. So you probably struggle a little bit, but it is possible to do it. It is possible, but I would recommend using. If the JVM's got 3 channels, like I think it has, and I think you said in your email it's got 3 channels, but I don't actually remember because I'm not very clued in with the JVM. I'm guessing it's clean over OD1 and OD2. I would say use an OD1 because I'm guessing it's lower gain than OD2. And then just run the gain low. And use that to kind of simulate the amp working harder than it actually is. And also if it's got 3 channels, you want to run the channel volume flat out. So run the gain low, but the channel volume flat out, and then use the master to just attenuate that. Because again, the amp will think it's doing something it isn't doing. I always run the channel volumes flat out. I just find the amps sound better that way. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. As for setting things properly, I mean, I don't know. Short of coming to your house and doing it myself, I couldn't honestly tell you. You know, it's all down to personal preference at the end of the day, and also what works for me probably won't work for you, or might not work for you. You know what I mean? It's really hard to say. And again, not having played a JVM or a Zoom G3, it's really hard for me to say exactly what you need to set these things to. So sorry, not really the great answer there, but I would say if you use an OD channel on your JVM, it should be able to simulate that kind of the amp working harder than it is kind of thing. So, but again, you know, just run the gain low. Run the gain about 2 or 3, depending on how the amp's biased. You know, it's a funny thing. So yeah, I hope that's helped at least a little bit. It's not really an answer. I do apologise immensely for that. But again, it's hard for me to answer a question where I've got no experience with something because, you know, I'm not going to lie and say, oh well, if you set it to this, this, and this, it'll work, because that's just not fair. I can kind of guess, which is what I've done. If you use OD1. Having played a lot of Marshall amps, if you run the gain low, you can kind of and run the channel level high and then the master volume low, you can normally get that kind of real natural cranked up kind of Marshall sound at a really cool low volume. But there is always a compromise, especially with Valve, not so much with the solid states at all. You can run them ridiculously quiet and they still sound really, really cool. So there is always a compromise with a Valve amplifier. When I had my 50-watt small box, it didn't do quiet. If you wanted quiet, you got the wrong amp. So, and a couple of other Marshalls I've tried. But you can simulate that by just, I say, using an OD channel. So that's what I'd recommend. OD1, run the gain low, channel volume high, master volume low. Okay, and you just have to tweak pedals to what they want to be, really. Like I say, short of actually kind of playing with your setup myself, I really don't know how to. I really don't know. Okay, so moving on to question 5 now. Okay, so question 5. I know you prefer a slightly dirty signal for your cleans, but do you find any limitations on the limited headroom you have when running into a slightly overdriven signal? Boosts don't boost, and reverb and delay go crazy when running into a distorted signal. So do you have any issues? Not really, no. I mean, I like distorted delays and distorted reverb. It feels better to me. I don't like effects loops. The only thing I've ever will ever run through an effects loop is my looper, just because it makes the loop clean and gives me the ability to kind of layer different effects. But other than that, I like the front end. And I quite like the craziness you get out of kind of like having loads of reverb in the front end and distortion. You know, there's something about that kind of like interaction between gain and reverb when it's all smashing together that I love. And as for headroom, no, I don't. I've never had any. I've never, touch wood. Never had a kind of like those kind of things, because what I do is, yes, I totally understand what you mean, is once you get to a certain gain level, anything you add on top doesn't go any higher. So once you get to this level, anything you add on top, you can crank the volume to a max. It will not go above. It'll just stay where it is. And I spoke about this, and what I do basically is use the zoom pedal as a boost. So what I do is I have patch A7 as my kind of clean. You know, that kind of clean. And I lower the volume on the zoom pedal. So patch A7's volume is really, you know, it's about, say, 70. You know, it's really, you know, I turn the patch level down. And I've still got that kind of semi-broken up clean thing, where it's not really broken up, but it's kind of compressing. You know, does that. But then I have A7 set with the same kind of EQ, slightly different EQ. I think I spoke about it in my zoom pedal video. And I have a volume higher. So I get a volume jump. So I use that for solo, so I can have loads of gain. But still boost it. This is going to clip the camera, but so I can have loads and tons of gain where literally, like I say, we're at that peak where you literally can't get any louder. But because I've got the zoom pedal patches set at different volumes, I can. So I can have tons of gain and still have it boosting. So normal, clip in the camera. You know, and I can get a significant volume jump just by using two different patches at two different volume levels. And the same thing goes with the Line 6 HX effects. I've got that set up with a boost and stuff like that, where again it's just the levels different. So yeah, I mean and that's something I've done forever. You know, I've done that thing for absolutely ever. I first started doing it with my Zoom 606, the silver Zoom 606, which was my first kind of proper pedal. My first multi-effects unit, I had the jackhammer. The jackhammer's my first ever pedal, and then I got my Zoom 606. And I realised very quickly that if I set one patch quiet and one patch louder, I could jump in volume. And I've just done it since then, and that was like 2003. So I've been doing it for absolute years. That's the way I get around it, and it's just something I just discovered naturally. I didn't push for it. It just became a natural thing. Again, coming back to some of those questions earlier on, I just let it happen and just thought, if I set that patch quieter, and I can have then that patch louder, I can have a volume jump for solos. And I was like, ooh. I didn't do solos back then, but I wanted a volume jump nonetheless, just for certain bits. Especially, we used in the first band I was in, we covered Muscle Museum by Muse, and there's this one bit that Matt Bellamy does live where he goes. He does that, and I was like, how is he doing that? And then I got the Muse tab book, and it told you that he's tapping like this. And I was like, wow, and I learnt that. And like, you know, I was like, oh, I want a volume jump for that, because I want that to stick out. You know, back in the days when I was like, you know, look at me. And it's like, you know, that's changed since then to don't look at me, but please listen. I don't know where we're going anymore. Anyway, back to the question at hand. Where are we? I don't know where we are. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know where we are. Whoa, I'm confused. Yes, but that's how I get around the volume jump thing. And I'd say the headroom maxed out kind of thing. So yeah, I could have like loads of gain and still boost it. Just by using different patches on the Zoom and the same. I'll never be without the Zoom. It's just like it's my all-time desert island pedal. I just love it to bits. Okay, so yeah, and again, the whole thing of like delays and stuff like that. I like delays slightly distorted. I don't like things perfectly clean. I don't like effects loops. They're just too sterile. Everything's too clean, and I don't like that. I like things to be a little bit unruly, and I like where that can take things sometimes. It's really, really cool. So I like front end stuff. It's just really, really cool. I don't like effects loop stuff at all. I say apart from loopers, which are kind of like dead important. If you got a looper, run it through the effects loop of the amp. It makes it just so much more easy and so much nicer. But other than that, I love front ends. It's just nasty, and I like it. Especially when you get tons of reverb, it's just absolutely outrageous. And you get this kind of mad trail off with distorted reverb. It's really cool. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Moving on to question 6 now. Question 6 is, I'm a left-handed player and I want a Fender Mustang, but I can't afford a left-handed one. Yeah, I've never understood that, actually. Why are left-handed guitars more expensive than right-handed guitars in some cases? Ridiculous. Silly. And, anyway, that's a different question for another day. But anyway, yeah, I'm a left-handed player and I want a Fender Mustang, but I can't afford a left-handed one. If I get a right-handed one, would I be able to change just the nut and intonation, or would there be other things? No, it's literally that's it. That's all you need to change. When I got my Jimmy Strat, which is a left-handed Strat, all we did was knock the nut out, flip it around, put it back in, re-intonate it, string it up, and away you go, Bob's your uncle. So yeah, that's I would recommend that if you want to get a Mustang. The only thing just be aware of is like having the dials on top. But again, you know, Mustangs are really quite small and comfortable, so yeah, you shouldn't really experience too much issues with it. But yeah, it's dead easy. Just knock the nut out. Just be really careful with it because it could be lacquered in. So just be careful. Just kind of like, you know, just be very careful. And just knock it out, turn it around, put it back in, string a guitar, re-intonate it, and away you go. It is literally that simple. So yeah, nice and easy job. Okay, so and good luck with it, and hope you get one that's really, really good, and I hope you love it and it's awesome. So yeah, hope that's answered your question. Moving on to question 7, final question of the day, everybody. There's a few here. What pickups are good in your opinion for Chicago blues to Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Strat stuff? Tone Rider are great pickups. Fender Tex-Mex pickups are my favourite, as I spoke about a lot. Oh, sorry everyone, I'm getting a really dry throat today. It's the dry air of the winter that's coming. Winter is coming. Prepare the horses. I don't know what I'm on about. Anyway. Yeah, Tex-Mex pickups are my favourite for everything. They just seem to do everything. I love them. They're just kind of really, really cool. Tone Rider pickups do amazing. Tone Rider do amazing pickups. You mentioned a few. Axes Are Us. They do really, really cool pickups. I don't know what that is. That's Mr. Burns in the supermarket. Ketchup and ketchup. Ketchup, ketchup. I don't know. I digress. Anyway. Where am I? Yes. Axes Are Us do really good pickups. Yeah, they do really, really cool pickups. And you said Iron Gear as well. I haven't tried any Iron Gear pickups, but I've heard they're good. So yeah, any really. I mean, but saying that, like, you can get like certain stock Squiers and like vintage guitars and Revelation guitars with kind of stock single coil pickups that will do that. You know, I tried a Revelation Strat a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, that's ridiculous. And you also get things like the Squier Classic Vibe that's got Tone Riders in it, and that's just they're scary. They're scary versatile guitars. I didn't get a lot of sleep, so my brain's still waking up. Everybody, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, you know, the fundamental sound of Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Eric Clapton's Strat stuff, and Jimi Hendrix is a Strat. So anything with 3 single coil pickups will get you close. Certain single coils on budget guitars can be thin and wispy and rubbish. I experienced that with my Jimmy Strat. The original pickups that were in that guitar went in the bin. They were that bad. I hated them. They were just thin, wispy, rubbish pickups, and I binned them because they were that crap. As soon as I got them out, I was like, these are not going in another guitar again. You will not darken my door with your trebly thinness again! And they went in the bin. That was my dramatic effect. Anyway, but yeah, so depending on, it depends on the guitar, really. I mean, like I say, and what you've got. I mean, you might find that, like, tweaking the amp a certain way might make the pickups you've got do what you want it to do. It's a weird thing, but like I said, I would highly recommend, like, Tone Rider Tex-Mex pickups. Axis of Ruz do great stuff. I love Axis of Ruz. I buy loads of bits and pieces from Axis of Ruz. I got a lot of scratch plates and bits and pieces throughout the years from them. So yeah, I mean, I can't comment on stuff like Iron Gear pickups and stuff like that because I haven't tried them. But yeah, so yeah. Can't think of anything else. So yeah, I mean, it depends really. But like I say, the fundamental sound of all those people you want to get is just a Strat. So at the end of the day, most of these things, regardless, will get you close. Okay, so you also asked, is it worth getting a loaded pick guard with everything installed already, or should I do it myself and learn to solder? I'm happy to do this. If you're happy to do it, yeah. Learning to solder a guitar together is really important because then you kind of like, you know what to do if something breaks. You don't have to take it to somebody, you can just do it yourself, which is wicked. So, but if you're not comfortable with soldering as of yet, and you're still practicing it or you've never tried it, then loaded pickups are an absolute godsend. They really are. So, if you're happy to do it, then I would recommend it highly. Just be patient with it because it takes a bit of time to get used to. But if you're a bit edgy with your soldering, you don't think it's very good, or you've tried it in the past and it's failed, then, and you're not comfortable with it yet, you won't need a bit more practice, then yeah, I would say get a loaded scratch plate. But yeah, if you're happy to learn to solder and you want to go down that route, go for it. It's great fun. And, you never where it might lead. Okay, so, and your final thing today was, what's your nut material of choice? Anything. It's not something I get het up about, really, to be honest with you. I've got guitars with cheapo plastic nuts. I've got guitars with bone nuts. I've got guitars with all sorts. It's not something I really care about. As long as the guitar plays and it feels good at the top end here, then I really don't care what the nut's made of at all. I don't really feel it adds a great deal to anything. I mean, again, my opinion. I have made a few bone nuts for guitars in the past, and I've got graphite nuts and there's plastic nuts and cheapo plastic nuts that snap in half every now and again. But I don't really get that het up on that kind of thing. A nut's a nut. As long as it works, I'm happy. Recently the nut on this got replaced after 56 years of service. We finally changed the original nut on this guitar to just, I don't think it's bone. I think it's just like, I don't actually know what this is, but it doesn't bother me that much, to be honest with you. I've got the original bone one that came with the guitar, but it was so worn out. The high E string was on the frets. It was that worn down. So, and after 56 years, you would expect that. So, yeah, I don't really get het up on that kind of thing, really. It's like, if the guitar works and it does what I want it to do and it sounds the way I want it to do and it feels the way I want it to feel and it really speaks to me, I don't care what its innards are. If that makes any sense. Like, I'm not that bothered about what materials they are. If they work and they feel good and they sound good, then that's all that matters, regardless of what it is. Granted, some cheap stuff might not last as long as some expensive stuff, but you just change it when it breaks. I ain't got a problem with changing things if they're broken, kind of thing. So I'm not precious about stuff like that. If it's broken and it needs to work, I'm gonna fix it regardless of what it is, kind of thing. So but yeah, nut material, it is a case of, if it works, it works. If it works, it works. I must break you. Anyway. You gonna break the nut, Dave? Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Like I say, I'm not really that finicky about what nuts are made of. As long as they work and they're cut nicely, you know, and I tend to kind of... If the nut's not cut nicely, I tend to just dive in and do it myself. On the John Strat Mark II that I'm working on at this point in time, which I'm nearly finished, I don't know what the nut is in that. It's just a cheapo plastic squire nut, but it was terribly cut. It wasn't. The action was silly high at the nut end, so I went in there and cut it down to how I wanted it. So I went a bit too far on the B string and I put paper in there, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Anyway. But yeah, I don't really get help with those kind of things. So anyway, I hope I've answered your questions okay today, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. And is there anything else I need to say? Oh yes, there is one thing I need to say. I'm terrible at self-promotion. I need to say that for a start. But on my Bandcamp, link in the description box below, I have recently released another little album of, I think it's 6 songs, and it's just something I recorded. I recorded an album using solely the Line 6 HX because I wanted to do like a soundscapey kind of ambient kind of thing, and I recently released it on my Bandcamp. So the link for it in the description box is in the description box below. So, but I'm terrible at self-promote. I don't like to promote. I don't like to feel, I don't like to feel like I'm trying to sell you something. But, and you know, if you want to go and listen to it, cool. You don't have to buy it. I'm not telling anybody they have to buy it whatsoever. But if you want to go and listen, then the link for it is in the description box below. Because quite a few people have asked me, you know, you need to release albums, and I've got like 6 or 7 on my Bandcamp. The link is for that in the description box below. And I meant to say that 2 weeks ago when I recorded it. It's took me 2 weeks to remember to say it in a video. Anyway, I've said it now, and that's all that matters. So it's good. Yay! Done it. But I'm terrible at self-promotion because I don't like it. I feel like it, you know, I feel like I'm trying to force things when I'm not trying to force things. It's like, ugh, I don't. It just makes me feel a bit dirty when I do stuff like that. It's like I don't like to advertise anything. I'm just not very good at that kind of... I'm not very good at self-promotion at all. I'm terrible at it. So yeah, link for that is in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. If not, that's fine. So yes. Is there anything else I need to say? I don't think there is. Oh, there is one more thing. Merchandise, everybody. People have been asking for t-shirts. Again, I don't feel like I'm trying to sell you anything, because I'm not. If you feel like you want to buy something, that's cool. But if not, then that's fine as well. But people have been asking for t-shirts and stuff for a long time. So hopefully at the end of this month, if I can afford it, I will be getting some t-shirts done and stuff like that. So keep your eyes peeled on that front. Other than that, I don't think I have any more to say. And I don't like doing self-promotion. I feel horrific doing it. It makes me just feel... I don't like... I can't do self-promotion. I don't like it at all. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope I've answered your questions okay. And I will see you again on Friday for another video. I don't know what it is going to be. But we'll see when it comes around. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for everybody. Thanks for your questions, and I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good